In the past 20 days, I saw 25 movies, and the first one I saw was Babyteeth. Babyteeth premiered last year but was released this year. I think this is a very clean and confident debut by the director who manages to put a fresh spin on potential cliches and expectations. It is very well shot, however it becomes scattered quickly. Many scenes are written for a specific message the filmmakers are trying to convey, but it doesn't do much to the plot and the characters any good. After a while, it becomes a film with free-flowing subplots and characters, adding the fact that the film is almost 120 minutes long, which I think the filmmakers can achieve just as much, if not even more, with 100. The execution of the ending is pretty fantastic though. 5 centimeters per second is this weird anime that I can't quite describe well. It is very short and it is separated into 3 volumes, basically an anthology with similar themes. It's one of those movies where you kind of have to be drunk or a little high to love it. To pitch it, I think it's just a visual poem and that's it. It's pretty good. And then I watched You Should Have Left. This is one of those where you really should not expect much out of it. Sure, David Koepp credibility is higher than most, but at this point in time, with that poster, there shouldn't be any excuse. This is also one of those where by the end, a lot of shit all of a sudden don't make any sense anymore. I do like the production design, this modern, futuristic, slick looking house with big, disturbing white walls surrounding the characters, but you know, don't expect too much. There's one scene with the mirror I thought was pretty creepy, and you know, that's pretty much it. And I finally watched The Godfather Part 3. I'll be lying if I say I understand everything and the whole plot upon first viewing, because there's quite a lot of things happening, especially towards the latter leg of the film. Other than that, everything said probably has already been said. I won't say anything more. And then I gave Cam a rewatch after reading the book, Cam Girl. I made a video talking about my afterthought. Go see it. I'll leave a card up there. After that, I gave The City of Lost Children a rewatch in preparation for the Spotlight. I liked it a lot more now. Go see the Jeanette Spotlight episodes, guys. Probably my most edited and most researched video I've made so far. Card is also up there. And then I watched Alien Resurrection for the first time. I've been avoiding this throughout the years because of the terrible reception. My thoughts are also discussed in the Spotlight. I just think as an Alien film, it's terrible. But as a Jeanette film, it's a little better, believe it or not. Cargo came out 2 years ago. It is on Netflix, and I probably went in with just a bit too much expectations because I really didn't like it that much. I appreciate it's trying to put a new spin in regards to the theme, but when it comes to the characters and the story world, it just barely worked for me. If you don't establish a world, don't try to convince me a destination. And then I watched Public Enemies from 2009. Frustratingly, it doesn't do the legendary criminal justice. The sound mix and design is unforgivably flat. I don't know what the fuck happened there. And with a cast and a director like this, I really did expect a lot better. It is under-edited, underdressed, and underfleshed when some of the most insane and daring shit Dillinger had done are almost completely glossed over. You know you fucked up. Homie deserves better. And then I watched Shirley. It's a new release. I thought it didn't quite capture the apparent psyche of Shirley, and the film became quite scattered and unfocused. Yes, Elizabeth Moss will keep on giving fantastic performances, but Shirley really should have been titled What Happened to Paula. And then I finally watched Snowden. I thought it was pretty good. It sacrificed a lot of dramatic substance in regards to characters' internal battles and dynamics for the more facts-based approach to reach for better viewers' understanding. However, it is a story about nothing but that. So I don't see a major issue here. Ask No Questions is this documentary about, I guess, a school of spiritual philosophy practiced in the 90s in China. And as a person who grew up in Beijing, where the biggest scandal regarding the subject took place, I have heard of Falun Gong countless times, and this does feel a lot closer to home, personally. I really did like the big chunk of the documentary, but sometimes it does feel like another Room 237 situation. The Straight Story is my first David Lynch film. Looking forward to watching more in the future for sure. I think this is a really touching, a pure story that illuminates how fragile and vulnerable life is. In the meantime, I'll check in daily to see his weather report because that shit's slamming.
Here in LA, some early morning fog, but it looks to be burning off, bringing blue skies, golden sunshine.
I made a review about this movie, Becky. Go check it out. You'll get the grade and my thoughts on it. Card is up there. Black Mass at a Distance seems promising, and in a lot of ways, it is. Johnny Depp is terrific here, just so intimidating in every scene he's in. On the storytelling side of things, I feel like the attempt at being everything the intimacy between the story and the viewers becomes really thin, so the attempt to reach for every single aspect becomes achieving nothing in every single aspect. Still, it's not that bad. I probably put it way harsher than you think, but it's really not that bad. And then I watched The Five Bloods on Netflix. I think as a PSA or as a piece that tries to get the message across, The Five Bloods worked really well. It has some of the best moments of 2020 so far. It also has some of the ugliest moments of 2020 so far as well. It has one of the best pieces of acting of 2020 so far, and Spike Lee has shown yet again that he's 10 steps ahead at all times. Then I watched The Bay on July 4th, the 2012 one. What are the odds? I didn't even know the film takes place on July 4th. This is a found footage film about a virus outbreak in a remote town. It made no attempt at creating compelling characters. It really just showed you, and this is what happened. And I actually think it's not a bad attempt. Hate the jump scare noises though. And then I watched the Japanese horror film from 1977, House, on the Criterion channel, and bruh, this shit is insane. It has everything, really, all kinds of craziness you can think of in a haunted house horror. House probably has it. What I do have to say is that just because you can doesn't mean that you should, but the can part ain't even there yet. And that's my problem with it. And then I watched Bong Joon-ho's Okja. I do like all these things Bong packed in here: capitalism, translation, the meat industry, yada yada yada. It was highly entertaining. The CGI looked pretty good as well. I just hope there's more things for me to grab onto more. Then I finally watched Gladiator for the first time. Am I not entertained? No, not really. Some of the shots here are so ugly, and the context of them makes them even worse. This is for sure overlong because it spent more time at spectacle, which didn't even come out that well with shaky cams with telephoto lenses. I'm not a huge fan of this. Next is 7500. I have a review written ready to go. It's coming out Monday, so I'll leave everything to that. You'll see it on Monday. And then I watched Quiz Show. I don't have much to say about this film on the surface. I just think it is a masterful piece of technical storytelling. The editing, the shots, the dialogue. Frankly, I think it's a bit underdiscussed since it depicts heavily on the rise of television in the 50s. So go see it. I think it's really good. Then I watched Darren Aronofsky's feature debut, Pi, which I think it's a you either like it or you don't deal. In this case, I struggle to find any enjoyment and meaningful themes. I might change my mind down the road though. This is an extremely dirty and grimy looking film. Not saying it's bad, just pointing it out. But the biggest thing here is that I don't even fucking care what the character is doing. I couldn't care less. After that, I watched Hard Candy. Now, I know this was very controversial when it first came out and probably still is if you watch it today, but I find this one to be a cloud-chasing charade that relies mostly on shock value and buzz. Despite the small budget nature and the excellent performances from the two leads, it is a visually displeasing movie with a world so small, it eventually swallows itself. In spite of any meaningful messages here it tries to convey, Hard Candy felt cold with lack of information, the timing of said information, and the types of information it decided to reveal. And finally, I ended the 120th day with NonStop from 2014, a movie I only saw snippets of it but never in its entirety. Despite any negatives I have with the movie, it is a very entertaining movie from top to bottom. There's not much of a dull moment here, but it's also one of those movies where if you turn your brain on just to the slightest, the whole thing is fucked, like the plane in the movie. So that's everything that I watched in the past 20 days. Thank you so much for watching. The review for 7500 should be up on Monday. See you there. Bye.